Good evening, Room 207 students. How are you doing today? I'm here to read you your nightly chapter from Crenshaw with Rossi, who just got woken from a nap, so he might be a little sleepy. Maybe I'll fall asleep in my lap. And we are on chapter 21, part 221. And the last chapter was we read in flashback when Jackson was talking about living in his minivan in the first grade, and now we are at the present. I'm sorry, now it's also flashback, and he's talking a little bit more about that time when he lived in the car. So for this chapter, I pre-read it, and I'm going to use the strategy making inferences. And when you make inferences, you are thinking about what the author wants you to know but doesn't tell you in the text. And we make those inferences, and a good way to make those inferences while we read is to think about characters' feelings, what characters are feeling right now in the text. And it helps us have more empathy for them. Okay, it gives us the ability to put ourselves in their shoes. Okay, and good writers will give you a lot of chances to make those inferences in their writing. So it really moves you and makes you feel for the character. Okay, so we're reading another chapter in flashback. Okay, here we go. If you ever have to live in your car, you are going to have some problems with feet. Especially if you're stuck in there with your little sister, your mom, and your dad, and your puppy, and your imaginary friend. There are many kinds of feet problems. Stinky dad feet. The magic marker smell of nail polish on your mom's toes because she says she still wants to look nice, so please just deal with it. Sister feet kicking you just as you're falling asleep. The scratchy surprise of dog feet trying to wake you up. Imaginary friend feet tiptoeing on your head. I thought hard about the feet problems. Finally, I came up with a plan. What's the worst that can happen? What's the worst that can happen is how I figured it out. What I did was I took a cardboard TV box we found behind Walmart. I smushed it flat. I drew on the outside of the box and on the inside too. I only had 3 markers and one died out when the cap fell under the back seat. So it was mostly just red dogs with blue eyes and blue cats with red eyes. I put stars on the inside. They seemed like a good thing to do. They seem like a good thing to think about before you went to sleep. I wrote, kept out Jackson's room on top. Misspelled room and keep. Mom said, too bad we had to leave our dictionary behind. Dad said, if only it really was rum. R-U-M. Every night I opened up my box and slipped my sleeping bag inside it. When I crawled inside, I felt like a caterpillar in a cocoon. It was almost like my old room where I could think without anyone bugging me. When Robin kicked me in her sleep, she hit the box, which was not exactly the same as kicking me. Unfortunately, Aretha liked to sleep with me so it could get a little doggy breathy. Also, the box didn't help much with the stinky dad feet. Okay, so now we're going to think about making inferences, and we're going to think, how did Jackson feel? How did Jackson feel being stuck in a minivan with his sister, his mom, his dad, his dog? How did he feel? What are some feelings that come to mind? I think maybe feeling frustrated, maybe feeling a little lost, maybe feeling a little bit sorry for himself. Okay, and I'm going to keep reading with those in mind. I knew we were lucky because we had our old Honda minivan, which had lots of room. I met a kid who lived for a whole year in one of those VW cars. It was red and round like a ladybug and just about as tiny. The poor kid had to sleep sitting up, squished between his two little sisters. Another reason we were lucky was because my sleeping box was just decoration. Some people actually live in a box on the street. I wasn't looking on the bright side. It's better to have a big car than a little one when you are living in it. Okay? So now I want you to go ahead and make an inference based on what I just read about Jackson thinking about how this other kid had a smaller car and how it's better to have a bigger car when you're homeless, living in your car. Make an inference. Jackson's feeling a little grateful. He's grateful, actually. And that gives us a little empathy for Jackson. Jackson's grateful he has a big car and not a little car like the other kid. Okay? And it's better to have a box in a car than a box on the street. Those were just facts. It wasn't like my dad who kept saying, we weren't homeless. We were just car camping. Right? So we're thinking about making inferences, and that helps us develop some empathy for Jackson. Empathy, okay, helps us, gives us the ability to put ourselves into Jackson's place. Okay, all right, and that's it for tonight. I hope you have a great rest of your day or evening, and I will read again to you tomorrow. Right? Take care.